Women only dress for attention. Women only dress provocatively for men. Do you know how much more provocatively I would dress if men didn't exist? And I ain't even get.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see several single and divorced women sharing their stories of how they ended up single, explaining why they're bothered by the question, "Why are you single?" Before we begin, we want to thank you for being here. Your support means a lot to us. If you enjoy what you see, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. We'd also love to hear your experiences in the comments. Your participation helps us grow and reach more people. Thank you for being part of our project. Let's get started.
Let's talk about feeling lonely in your marriage. I think that this is something that has been swept under the rug for a very long time, and most women don't feel comfortable talking about it. I got divorced 3 years ago. Before that, I did feel extremely lonely in my marriage, and I didn't talk to anyone about it. I felt ashamed and like it was my fault and that I had failed, and it was all internally something I was dealing with. I felt like I was supposed to support my partner and never say anything bad about him. So if I talked to my friends about how I was feeling, it was not being a supportive wife. So all these things that aren't true. As women, we deserve to be supported and loved and taken care of, no matter what stage you're in, no matter how old your kids are. So just know that you deserve that. You deserve to be treated well and loved and supported, and that being lonely in your marriage is not okay. Work on it if you want to work on it. Leave if you want to leave, but know that you need to talk to people and that you will get through this one way or another.
If you look at this society, women are given all the power. If she wants to leave, she can, no matter how much destruction is left in her wake. She just follows that emotion and forgets everything else. That's why I say women are loyal to their emotions. But something I've observed is that women always say men haven't matured as quickly as they have. The truth is, it's not like that. There's something I call the infatuation stage. This is the first level of a relationship when you're walking on eggshells to not upset your partner. Everything is beautiful and rosy. Usually, the man surpasses this stage, moves on to commitment and the responsibility of carrying a family. Women find it hard to move past the initial stages of a relationship because, as I said, they're addicted to this emotion and attention. It's hard for them to mature and understand that they won't receive as much attention anymore, and they have to pursue their own goals and family to be happy. That's why they say as a woman, "I deserve." It's like, "Give me all this attention you gave me in the courtship." That's why she divorces, seeking to relive her single life when she was 20, being invited to all kinds of places, having many suitors. Everything was excitement and fun, seeking the initial stages of a relationship. But the wall is a cruel karma, showing her that her prime has passed, that men no longer see her the same after a divorce, that she has children, and she becomes a single mother. She doesn't have the financial support of her husband. What she thought was rosy turns completely blue with tears of suffering. The wall doesn't forgive, brothers.
Men want attention and will do anything to get it, just like a child.
Let's correct that statement, okay? Some people will do anything for attention and do anything to get it.
They will be good to get attention and they will be bad to get attention.
It's almost like that's part of human behavior.
Stop answering to men when they make childish or pandering or accusatory statements.
Does one mean like this one?
Responding to someone who has interrupted a conversation that they aren't even invited to is like saying it's okay that they're there.
Well, that's nice, but I'm definitely interrupting this conversation.
Ignore, delete, block, whatever you have to do to not trigger a cortisol or endocrine or any kind of response in your body. It's about you.
Now there's a radical change in priorities. Everything is about the individual and their feelings.
The less that you acknowledge that it's happening, the more that it becomes background noise and the more that it literally just doesn't even exist anymore.
But yet, here's a post about it.
But for women to recenter and heal and decenter men and not consider them to be a part of blah, 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 to not consider them, they aren't invited to this piece of ourselves that is working on ourselves, that is working on us being the center.
Yet, ironically, one is still centering men in this conversation.
And no amount of good behavior or bad behavior or tantrum throwing or gesturing is going to get precedence over me and my well-being. Once I'm centered in that space, I'm willing and able to listen to anybody.
Just a thought here, but perhaps the best way to get others to listen to what one actually has to say would not be to start out generalizing a group of people just for the sake of grabbing their attention. And then perhaps one's words might actually carry more weight.
She accuses men of seeking attention, yet here she is, over 50 years old, making TikTok videos, talking about men. What irony, brothers. Ma'am, please sit down. A woman should be taking care of grandchildren or go play with her cat because she's on the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive. Women always want to grab a man's attention by any means necessary. They need it. They crave it. No matter their age, they always want men to notice them. So when they can't grab a man's attention anymore, they start making videos to criticize them. It's the law of the mirror. They reflect their own deficiencies. This woman could talk about a good marriage, but since she doesn't have one, she prefers to tell women to ignore men, not to give them attention. In short, she wants to spread her misery. That's why I told you, the wall doesn't forgive.
My marriage failed in my 20s, and I want to give y'all some advice if you've never been married before. My marriage failed for a lot of reasons, but I think this is my biggest downfall. I never thought through what kind of husband I wanted. Which probably sounds dumb, but I didn't think it through, and now that I'm divorced, I have a list of the traits I want my future husband to have. I spelled it all out because I'm not settling. I'm gonna share with y'all what I wrote so that you can go make your own list. Because even if you got a great boyfriend, you need to think these things through. I was dating my ex for 3 years before we got married. I never made a list. I loved him, and that was enough for me. Stupid. You need a list. This list isn't what you want them to look like or anything like that. It's the traits you want them to have, like what type of person you want them to be. I literally wrote out things I want in a husband. I never shared this before because I didn't want men to form themselves to what I want, but I have a boyfriend that's made me add to the list now, so it's okay if I share it. Don't be sharing your list with these men though. All right, things I want in a husband. Loves the outdoors, cuddles in the morning, good hygiene, warm, happy personality, no mental health problems or correctly medicated, surprises me / does cute things, plans dates, bachelor's degree or higher, which my boyfriend doesn't have that, but he has a great career, so that one was kind of superficial anyways. Good job, nice vehicle, that one was superficial too, and my boyfriend's vehicle is a junker, but it made me appreciate my car now. Anyways, manly man, spiritual leader, lives an active, healthy life, can do projects, very sexual, puts me in my place. I got that one underlined too. Never calls me mean words, likes to dance, good with money, enjoys creating social media content with me, motivates me to be my best self. If you don't have a list, go make yourself one. And if you're on any sort of self-discovery journey, I 10 out of 10 recommend journaling. I bought this at the beginning of my journey. I was 230 pounds. And I wrote in here, I am here to rediscover myself. This was my best friend throughout my weight loss journey. I've even gotten angry before and ripped pages out of it, but I put them back for, the story.
Your biggest downfall was reaching 230 pounds and making your husband want to leave you. Don't have a wish list like you're Santa Claus. It's not like you're going to Walmart for groceries. Because, as I said, they can wish for a man with a good job, a nice car, who's affectionate, who only pays attention to them, who makes money with a bachelor's degree or higher, in other words, a perfect man. Because this seems more like a full-time job to get involved with a single mother and divorcee. Wonderful, every man's dream. Here's the irony of women. They can make a list of everything they want their man to have, then expect him to meet a series of requirements to be with her. But if a man sets standards, they get angry. Imagine this man saying he has a list, and she responds that she has one too. On his list, the first thing might be not overweight. This man would be labeled misogynistic, fatphobic, and all the purple-haired collective would come after him to crucify him. Because how is it possible not to want a woman who is overweight, as was the case with this woman's ex? She talks about how her life improved after leaving a disastrous marriage when she weighed 230 pounds, didn't work, and spent her time complaining. What sane man would be happy in that situation? But of course, she leaves her husband, now loses weight, typical of modern women only getting in shape to snag a beta provider for a second marriage.
It's funny because it's true. Oh, honey, if only I had an easy answer for this one. Honestly, that's another misguided phrase people employ that also drives me crazy. Why are you still single? Unless it's asked facetiously, like, how are you still single? You're fucking awesome. But when people ask as if it's a problem they're trying to get to the root of, I can't stand it. And I don't know if you, like me, have done some self-reflection over the years and have tried to come up with an earnest answer, because the truth is I probably didn't put myself out there as much as I should have throughout most of my 20s. I had a lot of insecurities I let hold me back, and I was much more passive about connections coming to me rather than seeking them. But then again, I have friends my age who were aggressively dating during this time, and they're also still single. And I have never once looked at these women and thought, well, you're single because there must be something wrong with you. Are there things they could stand to work on or improve within themselves? Absolutely, but that's not exclusive to single people. We're all learning and growing. It doesn't mean we're not worthy of finding a partner to do that alongside. No matter what you do or don't do, there is not one single strategy on this earth that is going to make a suitable partner just appear. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. And that's not to say what dating coaches are selling isn't always legit, because some of them certainly do have some helpful insights and advice, but none of them are going to pull your future husband out of their back pocket. Personally, I can't stand when people refer to dating as a numbers game, meaning the more people you go out with, the more likely you are to find someone. No. For me, quality trumps quantity. Saying yes to a bunch of mediocre dates when I know before going in that they're not the one is not helpful to me. And that's not to say I don't give men I'm doubtful about a chance, because believe me, I do. But I also don't want to waste anyone's time, mine or theirs. Yes, the more you put yourself out there and get to know other human beings, the more likely it is you'll find someone. But that doesn't mean you have to go on a date with everyone. There are other ways to meet people. Hone your hobbies. And let's remember, just because someone has found someone else doesn't mean it will last. People break up and get divorced all the time. People who meet their partner in their late teens or early 20s and are together for 7, 8, 9 years, sometimes they outgrow each other and the relationship doesn't last. Having someone at present isn't a guarantee for the future, even if you both commit to it. And while I'd like to believe there's a lid for every pot, some lids are just harder to come by. Some pots are more basic. They're easy to pair with any lid. Doesn't mean it's the lid for you or that you have to settle for a lid that's good enough. And it doesn't mean there's anything inherently wrong with the pot or that it can't make a damn good soup. You just have to search a little harder if you want to find its counterpart. I probably overextended this metaphor, but I'm not mad about it. Point is, love and relationships come easier to some than they do to others, but it doesn't mean you're unworthy of receiving any of it.
I'll tell you why you're still single. It's because of that stupid idea that something better will always come along. Most women, if not all, have suitors, men who would be very willing to have a relationship because there are plenty of single men out there. But they still want a winner because none of them want to be the woman of the process. What do I mean by this? In the past, a woman would date an average man, and they would both build together, coming from the bottom and adjusting over time. Nowadays, they don't want to be the woman of the process. They want to be the woman who finds a man, as we saw with the other girl, who's well employed, has a good job, a nice car, a career or business, earns more than 6 figures, and in some cases is a 6-foot-tall man. Do you really know how many men can meet such standards? A minority. That's why they're annoyed when asked, and when someone wants to keep investigating because they're attractive women and because there are many single men, yet they can't seem to find one. They'll always say, I have to work on myself. I'm the one holding myself back, not you. You should just lower your standards, bet on a man's potential, because they're hitting the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive.
Say this, and I am going to pin this to my profile. When I say that I am a single woman and I am happy, this does not mean that I don't like relationships, that I hate relationships, that I don't see the benefit in relationships, or that I never want a relationship. It just means that I am single and I am happy, and I am not going to place everything on finding a partner. That is it. That is all it means. How is it so embedded in your brains? You have brain rot from the association that single women must always be miserable in the incessant pursuit of a relationship to find worth and value and meaning in this world. That when a single woman says she's happy, you immediately take that as some sort of reflection of what she believes about relationships. Single women, single people can be single and be happy and still leave room for someone incredible to come into our lives that could bring an incredibly enriching experience. That is more than possible. And my frustration, my fire around this comes from the fact that when I dare say that I'm happy, when I'm just out here thriving, living my life, creating, figuring it out, trying to figure out what the hell is going on in this world, that is taken as some mission statement about what I think about relationships. Are you mad? Are you actually mad? Because they are not, there's no correlation between the two at all. Embracing your life for what it has to offer you today is the number one way to just be happy instead of living in constant want. I do not promote being in a relationship is better or being single as better. I promote the idea that you choose for you what is best and I will choose for me what is best. And then we respect the differences between us on our own individual journeys. Is that so hard to grasp? And as much fun as it is to talk like this, what I want to say is that loving, healthy, supportive, mutual relationships, 10 out of 10, back that horse, ride it all the way into the sunset, 100%. But also know that your life has so much to offer, whether you are in a relationship or out of a relationship, whether you have that or never find it at all, you have so much to discover.
This means she's as lonely as the sun at noon on a cloudless day. When you hear a woman shouting from the rooftops that she's single and happy, just pay attention to the keyword, single. She's announcing herself, hoping for suitors, because someone who's genuinely happy doesn't need to proclaim it. People just notice. In life, there are two types of people. Those who have a partner and those who haven't found the right deal in the supermarket of love yet. This woman falls into the second category, lost in her search, but not finding. It annoys her when people ask if she's single, and she'll say she's happy being single. But this woman had a relationship at 25 or older, ended it, and now she's in her 30s, hitting the wall. And since she's hitting the wall, she has to change the modern women's discourse to cover her loneliness. I'm happily single, but it's been several years now, and that happiness doesn't seem to end, or no one sticks around. But as she says, she still has much to discover. Let's hope she doesn't realize too late that she's hit the wall, because the wall doesn't forgive. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about the woman who divorced because she felt lonely? Do you believe the best prize for a man is a single mother? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.